Week 5!
Smackdown.
What's going on, everyone? Dustin, Nameco, heading into Week 5. This is our weekly tips advice show. If you haven't gotten into our games already, go ahead and do that. Fantasy games, sign up once you log in. Follow the action. Follow the action?
Check out the action.
Check out the action. Third one from the left. Free FST shirt if
Fancy
you win.
stuff.
Brent's been getting mad about some stuff on Twitter and some questions in the forum, so go ahead.
All right. It seems we do this annually now, so I apologize if you've been with us, but right now I'm kind of annoyed with all of the questions where people are asking me, should I start this quarterback with this wide receiver so I can get double the points and I'm going to be benching Roddy White because of it? No, you go with your best player at each position. Look at each position individually. You go with the best player. I just got, should I drop or not start my kicker because I also have the defense he's playing? What? Are you kidding me? Don't do that. You gotta go with your best team. Look at each position individually. You put your best team on the field and you go from there for the love of God.
How do you really feel?
Ridiculous! Alrighty, let's get into those forums. First one comes from Midnight Green, wants to know who to start in his flex. Mendenhall against Philly, Brown against Green Bay, or Crabtree versus the Buffalo Bills. The community saying go with Mendy. You know, everyone else has come back off knee injuries. Why can't he? 55%. That's what they say.
I mean, this one is tricky. You know, Donald Brown hasn't looked that great. You know, Crabtree has a decent matchup, but, you know, can you really trust a 49ers receiver over a running back with any type of upside? I'm looking at the reports here as far as, you know, if I were you, look at the reports from here on out for the rest of the week. If they're promising on Mendenhall, I say Mendenhall. I know it's scary, far from a guarantee, but I'm going to agree with the community on this one. You know, I feel like, you know, the plan was week 5 probably all along for him. I think he could have been ready, you know, even week 3, week 4 maybe to come back, but they'll probably be pushing it. But I think he's ready to go. I think he'll have a decent game if they're willing to give him the touches. Still scary, though. All right, next one comes from K Diddy 78. Kind of a tough quarterback question. We got Vic at Pittsburgh or Cutler at Jacksonville. Kind of surprising. Our community 67% right now saying Cutler.
Yeah, and I can understand. I mean, Vic's obviously turned over the ball a ton in the first 3 games. He did all right last week against the Giants. And, you know, Cutler looked great on Monday night. But with that said, and, you know, it's also obviously a matchup thing. Steelers are coming off a bye, and then, you know, Cutler's playing the god-awful Jaguars. But I would still go with Vic here. I'm going against the community. I just think Vic right now is the better overall quarterback. I actually think that the Steeler-Philadelphia game is going to be a little more of a shootout than people suspect. And, you know, you always got to like him with his legs. Macklin's finally, you know, looks to be 100% healthy for the first time, it seems like, all season. I would just go with Vic here instead of, you know, Mr. gets sacked 1,000 times a game, Cutler. All right, Dustin, this one comes from K Diddy 78. He wants to know, should he be starting Big Ben against Philly or Phillip Rivers at New Orleans? The community is saying you got to go with New Orleans and Phillip Rivers, or against New Orleans, Phillip Rivers, with 100% of the vote.
This one's actually from B Nelly 35. Well, that's from K Diddy. But just to correct.
B Nelly.
From B Nelly. Our community is so smart. You pretty much start anyone against New Orleans at this point. You know, Phillip Rivers, okay this year. You know, obviously his receivers haven't really made it that easy on him. He doesn't really have that many targets as he used to. You know, especially with, you know, Vincent Brown hurt and Vincent Jackson gone. But New Orleans has just been awful. That should be a very high-scoring game. I'm all in on that game. I think a lot of points are going to be scored in that game. I'm going Phillip Rivers, community. So smart.
In that game.
In that game. Did I say that a lot?
Just a couple times.
Maybe 4.
Yeah, maybe. All right, it's everybody's favorite time. It's time for the bet of the week remix.
That was awful.
Yeah. All right, we're going to be talking about Ryan Williams. First of all, I apologize from the bottom of my heart. But if you picked him up, I hope you didn't crud him, because I think this week's going to be the week he should have had last week. It's going to be what DeMarco Murray did against them in 2011. It's the Rams again. Rams are terrible against the run. They give up 135 rushing yards a game. Ryan Williams going to get all the touches. The over-under line is set at 12.5. Clearly, I'm taking the over. Going to move to 4-1.
I will admit I'm a little worried about this, and the Rams' run D isn't that great, but I just wanted to I wanted Brent to put his money where his mouth was with Ryan Matthews. I just want to Ryan Williams. Sorry, I just want to see it. Damn. You know, obviously the upside's there. He's a featured back on an offense. You know, might not be the best offense in the world, but they have looked a little bit better ever since Cobb came there. So we'll see what happens. But not totally buying it until I see something out of him. So maybe we'll see it this week. But side note, still lost the bet last week with 5 picks from Romo.
Romo, attaboy.
At least I was right about Romo sucking, but Ponder just couldn't do anything. But all right, sleepers and busts. My sleeper, Eddie Royal against New Orleans. We talked about it before. I really like that game. Should be a lot of points scored. Now, don't go crazy with this pick. This is kind of a real deep sleeper if you're desperate for a receiver, couldn't get anyone on the wire that you like. But I do like Eddie Royal as a solid, 10-point play probably in PPR leagues. My bust, James Jones going up against the Colts. Now, before you hate on this one, all I'm saying with James Jones is don't start him over any of your studs. I know he's coming off of a big game, but they still are out there in Green Bay. They spread the ball around so much. Just because James might get a few more targets, he could still be 2 catches for 20 yards. I mean, that is still a possibility. He probably won't do that, but if you have decent options, don't take the gamble on James Jones if you don't have to.
All right, my sleeper. I got an 11 show, and I'm doubling down on Ryan Williams, of course, for all the reasons that I discussed before. He's going to be inside my top 20 in rankings, which, by the way, we're in competition against 100 experts on Fantasy Pros, currently ranked number 13. Doubling down Ryan Williams. My dud is going to be Willis McGahee against New England. The Pats' front 7 has looked really solid. Wolfric there in the middle just eats up like 5 people. So it's really tough to run on him. I think it's going to be a pass-happy game between Brady and Manning, which we all want to see anyway. So McGahee's going to be my bust of the week. But don't be crazy. It is a bye week. I'm not saying bench him over for any, schmo like Mark Ingram.
Oh, I like the old jab.
Yeah.
All right, let's move into Mike's picks. His sleeper is Mendenhall. I don't actually mind this pick for him. Not the easiest matchup going up against Philly, but Mendenhall's coming back, and I feel like he's going to get hated on a lot as far as not willing to take a gamble on him. But if you got bye week issues, if the reports are good, Mendenhall could be a sneaky play. Mike thinks that he's going to get as many touches as his knee will allow, and that probably will be the case. His bust is all Buffalo running backs. If he had to pick one of the two, he'd go with Spiller. But San Francisco's D, scary. Buffalo running back situation is a mess. Probably should stay away from it this week if you can. So that's our weekly show. We'll see what happens to Prince Boyd tomorrow.
Williams.
We won't have to wait all the way to Sunday. We only got to wait till Thursday.
Can't wait. Can't wait. National Breakout Party. Oh, not quite. Got it. No.